In this video, I'm reviewing the Smartravel Explorer DK400 e-bike, which is Smartravel's retro moto-style fat tire electric bike designed for handling any adventure, regardless of the terrain. I'm going to go over the unboxing and assembly process, go in depth on the features and specs, and do an acceleration test, braking test, hill climb test, and review how it rides. So let's get to it. The DK400 comes in a pretty standard bicycle shipping box, but it's extremely heavy, weighing over 80 pounds, so make sure to be careful when moving, and I do recommend having someone help you move it. After opening, the bike was assembled about 85%. All you have to do is remove all the packing foam and zip ties, install the handlebars, install the front wheel, front fender, headlight, turn signals, rear shelf, and the pedals, including the box with necessary tools and instruction manual. The whole process took me about 30 minutes or so, with most of my time being spent putting on the front wheel and the headlight. The bike isn't that hard to put together, but the weight does make it a little more challenging. Also included with the bike is an air pump, storage bag, and a rear shelf, which are all nice additions to have. When I went through the bike, all the bolts are tight, and it powered up no problem. So the DK400 frame is made of 6061 aluminum and comes in a matte black paint job. Powering the bike is a 750 watt brushless rear hub motor that has a peak output of 1000 watts and 86 newton meters of torque. It also comes with a removable 48 volt 18.2 amp hour lithium ion battery that's UL certified, has a claim range of 45 miles using pedal assistance and up to 26 miles using the throttle. The DK400 also comes with mechanical disc brakes with 160mm rotors both in the front and in the rear. Their wheels are 20-inch aluminum spoked wheels that come with fat tires with a 4-inch width. And help out with ride comfort, there's also a dual crown fork, a coil rear shock, and a seat with a decent amount of padding. It also comes with a 7-speed Shimano drivetrain with a 28-tooth cassette and a 46-tooth chainring. And for safety and increased visibility, there's a headlight, tail light, and turn signals. But something to keep in mind though is that the tail light is only a running light that's to be turned on manually, so it doesn't work as a brake light. The dashboard has a very simple and clean display design that shows your battery level, assist level, speed, and odometer. So the DK400 has an overall length of 68.9 inches, a wheelbase of 46.5 inches, a handlebar height about 42.3 inches, a handlebar width of 25 inches, a seat height of 32.3 inches, the seat measures 14.5 by 7.5 inches, the rear rack is 9 inches by 7 inches with a max weight capacity of about 33 pounds, the storage bag measures 13 inches long by 5 inches wide and 4.5 inches tall, and it's big enough to fit my wallet, keys, my Insta360 camera, and even my drone. And the DK400 weighs in at 68 pounds, has a load capacity of 350 pounds, has a 1-year warranty, and at the time of this video you can pick one up for about 800 bucks. Okay, so the first thing we're going to test is the speedometer accuracy. We're comparing the bike to a GPS app on my phone. So right now, the bike indicates 17.2 miles per hour. The app is actually at between 16 and 17. It's good. All right, so next speed, we're going to 22.2 miles per hour. This is 22 on the bike, 21 on the app. So a little bit off. Next speed we're going to check, we're going to go a little bit higher. Okay, we're at 26.9 miles per hour. 26.7. Apps is 25. Once again, the bike is a little aggressive on the speedometer. Okay, next we're going to do a top speed run on the Smartravel DK400. This is going to be throttle only. We're going to compare top speed of what the bike actually says and use the GPS app we're using. And let's go. All right. Bike says 28, 29, 30, 31. 31.32 miles an hour. The bike indicates 32. Speedometer here says 30. And I think that's all she has.
now we're going to test the hill climbing ability using only the throttle on a 15% gradient. So right now the hill's about 10%ish or so. We're doing 15 miles per hour. We are now hitting the steepest part of the hill, going an indicated 13 miles per hour. Easy peasy. 12. And there we go. Okay, last hill climb. This hill is about 20 to 22% or so. We're gonna see how far we can get using only the throttle. Level 5 power. Ooh, it's getting steep. 12 miles an hour. Oof. 10 miles an hour. 9. Where's our pedaling? Wow, ton of power. I will say though that this is a moto-style e-bike. The seat is really far back and very low. So it's kind of a very awkward seating position to try to pedal with. But I am pedaling at 10 miles per hour pretty easily, so obviously it can do it. And I'm not even the lowest gear. So that was really easy. Even with the seating position, that was cake. I think realistically, you could probably do I don't know, maybe up to a 25% gradient if you needed to while pedaling. Okay, now we're gonna test out the acceleration on this bike. Throttle only, we're using the highest speed level 5. And we do know that the speedometer is a little bit too fast. So we're gonna go up to 28 miles per hour on the indication on the bike. So here we go. Ready? And go. Woo. 10, 15, 20, 25, 28.
So for the results, the DK400 went 0 to 10 miles per hour in 2.6 seconds, 0 to 15 in 4.2 seconds, 0 to 20 in 6.5 seconds, 0 to 25 in 10.8 seconds, and to 28 miles per hour in 14.9 seconds. And I was pretty impressed with the acceleration of this bike. It gets up to speed pretty quickly and feels really powerful. What I like the most is that the acceleration doesn't taper off into about 25 miles per hour, where it does start to lose a little steam after that. Next, I want to test out the braking distance from 3 different speed levels. First was from 10 miles per hour, which the DK400 did in 6 feet. Next was from 20 miles per hour, which is a Class 2 e-bike top speed, which the bike did in 18.5 feet. And last was from 28 miles per hour, which the DK400 did in 41 feet. So I was extremely impressed with the braking power of the bike, especially considering that these are mechanical disc brakes with smaller rotors. The brakes are powerful, and the bike remains composed under braking. The only thing I did notice is that the brakes do get hot on steep descents, but there is no brake fade. So now that I tested the acceleration, braking, and hill climb ability, I want to test out the DK400, what I consider the most important part of a bike, and that's the ride comfort. So I've been testing out the DK400 for the last couple weeks, and I put a decent amount of miles on it. And I've done everything from small 10-minute rides to longer rides where I've been in the saddle for more than an hour. And during this testing, I use the throttle about 95% of the time, and only using the pedals when I go up steep hills that the motor can't power up on its own. And since this bike is a moto-style e-bike, it sits and feels like a dirt bike, so it isn't the most efficient pedaling bike. And since this bike feels like a dirt bike, it also has the comfort of a dirt bike, meaning it is really comfortable for shorter rides. But I did notice that after about an hour or so of riding, my butt did start to hurt a little, which I attribute to the seat being on the narrower side. Also, the bike does have a pretty long reach, so if you're on the shorter side, you might have to get a shorter stem to shorten up the reach. And with the long reach and lower seat height, pedaling is more of an afterthought. But as you saw from the hill climb test, when you do need to pedal up a steep hill, it's not too bad. But these certainly aren't deal breakers, since this is the way the bike is designed. But I do feel the need to mention them. So far through my extensive testing, the DK400 has held up extremely well to daily use. The 750 watt brushless motor is almost silent. It's extremely smooth and has a lot of power. It's also able to cruise at top speed pretty easily, and it's a blast to ride. The bike is also pretty comfortable with the seat, fork, rear shock, and fat tires do a wonderful job of keeping the ride smooth and composed. When it comes to suspension, the fork is definitely the highlight, and the rear shock does work, but is a little on the stiffer side. And since this is a moto-style e-bike, pedaling is the bike's weak point, and quite honestly, I spent over 95% of my time riding this bike using only the throttle. And so far in my testing, this bike has averaged between 20 to 23 miles of range per charge, which I think is pretty good. It makes the DK400 a great bike for longer rides. But just of note, I weigh 175 pounds, so your range will vary depending on your weight, terrain, and riding style. So I do feel the advertised 26 miles is possible, especially for riding in the city streets where it's flat and you don't have the throttle wide open the whole time. But if you want more range, a spare battery only costs $260, which I think is a great deal. And while this bike is powerful and smooth, one aspect it excels at is the fun factor. The DK400 is designed for giving you a motorcycle riding experience without the need for a license, excessive noise, and the dangers of riding at insanely high speeds. This bike is a great bike for someone who wants the same experience as a Super 73 for about a third of the price. And while I'm a big fan of the bike, I do wish that the bike came with at least 180mm rotors since this bike is pretty heavy. And I did notice that the brakes do get hot on long, steep downhills, but I didn't experience any brake fade. So in conclusion, this is one of the coolest e-bikes I've ridden, and I'm pretty impressed with it, especially for the price. It has a ton of features, it's pretty powerful, has really good range, I love the addition of the rear rack and the storage bag, and I think the value is incredible. But if you have any questions or own a DK400 or another Smartravel bike and want to share your experience, please leave them in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great one.